this person was okay. Why did they suddenly change their appearance when they changed provinces and decided to get a bunch of tattoos? Because if you actually go research, not stalk, research their profile, their life, and understand who they were before they became who they are today. Who were they before that? Who is their family members? Who were they before they got forced into another province? And then the person that followed them was a person that was supposed to keep them in order, and they did not know that. And if you do that research on that person, and you do a quick Google search with their name, and it comes up of 2007, and she was a dentist person. Mind you, this person has changed where they were from on their profile a few times now. The person that I'm talking about, other person. So was that person his handler? Probably. You can't really pinpoint the situation. You can only do research of what you have access to and who you have access to and what knowledge you have of this person. Mind you, this person who left this small town became friends with this person. So let's do some back stepping. So this person who entered the picture was always supposed to be their handler and keep them in line. So research purposes is that when you do research and you find information that is concerning on many levels, and mind you, I know too much and I have the knowledge of understanding why this is happening. When somebody is denied medical, like dental and other things, and then they randomly get a bunch of money, and their family have asked them many times, if you actually go back to comments and do research, not stalking, research, because like the difference with stalking is like you're fixus on somebody. So researching information is like a project for school. When you do a project for school and you're researching this famous person and you're doing research, that's the difference. Stalking is like focusing on them and trying to figure out what they are like and how to be in their circle. Research is like understanding who they are from the outside, who they were, and like it's like any famous person, like to track them back to who they were before they came who they are today. So the research is that this person, let's call it the handler, put themselves in this person's life and their family and everything. And I don't know a lot. I know that I was not opposed to continue being friends with this person or in their life because I was blocked and I was lied to. So when somebody is not doing what they're supposed to be doing by their handler, the handler will literally take things away. Money, opportunities, financial opportunities, anything, and withhold them until you do what you are supposed to be doing, and use the legal system as a way to weaponize the situation, like custody, kids, and this is research. This is just research purposes. And when this person moved in with this other person, they didn't want to be with this person at all. It was not their type. You'd be like, what is going on here? Why are they totally different people? Like, people always attract other people, right? But how the two people who came from two small towns, and then when you get to know one person, this person's like, I really don't like being in this relationship. It's draining me emotionally, physically, everything. You never know two sides of the story. So, for research purposes, is that this person had a baby with the person, but the baby looks nothing like this other person's other kids they've had. But this child carries his last name. This child looks nothing like the other kids he's had. So the handler had to be like, well, it is your kid, it's just my DNA, or something. Okay. So the handler makes sure that they're able to continue controlling the person. So the handler makes sure that they able to control this person through custody, legal, cops, and charging them with DV. And using child services as a weapon, research purposes. And this person works as a dentist, so they're able to get access to drugs and access to other things. So that's how they continue trying to support what they're doing. When this person left the relationship, the person who the handler is continuously trying to make the reality of how can we make him freak out. Right, we can tell services that they have a mental health problem, bipolar, and put them in the psych ward. Yeah. Mind you, their family has given up on them because of their actions and the lying and everything. That's understandable, but when you're in that kind of situation and your handler knows exactly what to say to certain people and their family members to make you look like you're going crazy, they're really good at making stories up about you. So I had to reset my phone. So the handler pretends to be a concerned ex who started to get involved in their personal life and their business. So this person started understanding how to really control them. So they will file for guardianship as a guardian, as an adult who has mental health problems. Because this person was already in the psych ward, so they already have mental health problems. They're already able to look like they're insane. So their handler has an upper hand and able to tell them what to do. I don't want you to talk to Janelle. I don't want you to talk to this person. I don't want you to talk to this person. But I'm able to have every way access to your money. And your family's all on board because I already made sure I manipulated all of them and coerced them into believing my side of the story and not yours. Mind you, they're having to work constantly and work in the same place they've worked since 2009 and not able to move. They've lived in the same place for years. That's a sign. So research purposes, when a person is forced to live in the same house, in the same place for many years, and is forced into their world and everybody else around them to keep quiet. So as soon as the reality comes to happen around 2015 and 2016, this relationship started falling apart. And this is when the handler reached out to a certain person and started talking to them and giving them information about, like, oh, he's so horrible, he did this to me, he had no connection to our child because the child's not like biologically his, so why would he even have any connection to that child? But then he started having connection with that child because they brainwashed him into having this mindset it was his child. Mind you, a few years later, this person started dating somebody who has exactly the same child, exactly the same everything that this other child has. They compare pictures, and this child looks exactly like that child. And I don't know who that biological mother of that child is, because when somebody wants to make sure social media looks very real, and they're able to take trips and vacations, but mind you, the person who hasn't able to take any vacations, haven't been able to buy anything fancy until around 2021, they had money, access to money, so they were able to buy a new vehicle, buy a motorbike, buy a few things, but they still couldn't do certain things that other people were able to do. They were not able to upgrade their phone. They had access to money in 2016 because the relationship was active, so they were able to get access to cell phones and like everything else. Yes, this person has cheated, but who posted on this person's social media needs to be investigated. Research purposes. When somebody has access to their social media, their phone bill, posting false information on social media of like, oh, my dog died, the dog's still alive. Oh, my other dog died, the dog's still alive. And then this person's, the handler has control over every storyline that goes out. So this person had to be pushed into other ways of making income because their actual income was being taken away from them. So when they would make a lot of money on art, they would not be able to have that money. Mind you, they were forced into a lot of things they didn't want to be forced into. Making children with people they didn't want to have kids with. Mind you, they would fly them out somewhere, meet them up with this person, and have a child with that person. And this person thought they were in an emotionally loving relationship with this person, and they were told to keep quiet about it. Because it's called, you know how we have human trafficking, but it's called pregnancy trafficking. So they will make this person get other people pregnant, and it's not really big right now, but in reality it is, because they will use a man to get people pregnant. It's called pregnancy trafficking. So somebody will get other people pregnant and be forced to do that, or do actions to get people pregnant. It needs to be looked into, because people will literally force somebody to have sex with somebody, and if they don't, they're blackmailed into not complying. So if they don't comply, they will literally be treated or tortured. I don't want to go into more deep about this information, but research purposes is that if you don't know the whole story, don't think you know the whole story. This man has many issues because he's been groomed, manipulated, forced into situations, and he had a traumatizing childhood brought up. But before, in 2015, he never had any mental health problems. He never had any mental health issues. He never had emotional problems. He never had any breaks or any psychotic issues until 2016 and 17. Mind you, this person has always been stable and has always had a stable mind until they were pushed to their limits from their handler. Their handler knew exactly how to control the system, how to process the system, and there's many people who have his kids who he didn't want to have kids with, because they will use social media, dating sites that are controlled by this handler, but controlled by him too. And that's the problem, is that nobody's actually understanding how it works. So sex trafficking is a big thing. Pregnancy trafficking needs to be more looked into. And social media trafficking. So if they have a lack of dentists, changing their lives, like changing their names on social media, and other things, and they're not really having communication, not going out for dinner with friends, and not having normal lives, they're being trafficked. If they don't have any history with friends, or they don't have any long-term friendships, and they go on new friendship and they're able to only have access to money when they're doing things against the law, like drug dealing and everything else. I'm not saying that's appropriate, but maybe that's the only way this person was able to live. I'm not saying that's acceptable behavior, but I'm saying that even cops can be trafficked. Even cops can be trafficked, because it's very easy to traffic anybody. Cops can be trafficked too. So either you want to know the whole story, and I can break it down for you, and you guys can read my storyline, because it's very gross of things I know. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I know that there's a lot of people that need help, who are in this situation, and people don't believe them because they look like they're insane. Sometimes RCMP can be trafficked. So I don't want to say anything, but when you owe money to Hells Angels, they will come after your family, they will come after your friends, they will come after anybody to make sure you give that money to them. You don't know who you're dealing with when you owe money to drug lords. You need to understand that they will do everything to get their money. They will plant stories. They will plant anything. They have fake businesses or charities to make sure they have access to you. This somebody who joined a group for abused kids. This person thought they were joining a club for abused kids and they could help them. Then they figured out it was just for drunks and abusers. Most of the people in that club should not be around kids. And if you don't see the pictures, they're normally not around kids. When this person was trafficked to make pregnancies, they got attached to certain people's kids. Yes, you could look at it as rape. You could look at it as sexual assault. You could have it any label you want. But when they're being trafficked to do something and they don't do it, they can get themselves in big trouble and end up dead. They're paid to do something and they're supposed to do it, even if that person is their friend or family. Or they have a hit on somebody and then they try to protect that person and that person needs to go and disappear for a few months or something to make sure the person's safe. If you want to know how it feels, so as a police officer, you should be making good figures money, right? Even if you have child support to pay. So when somebody's a police officer, they're able to get a lot of money. Do some research. Look on Google how much a police officer makes a year and how much they are able to get. So if a cop is trafficked, they will be planted other places and taken advantage of. So a police officer will be trafficked from another province to another province, and they will be eliminated of their family members. They won't have access to their real money, but they will be able to go on trips. Watch for that. When people randomly start going on trips and they don't have a lot of social media and they're not really a social media person and they don't have a big platform or anything, watch for that. Social media is really big. They go for native people because they're really easy to manipulate. And if you guys have a drug problem or anything, they're able to have access to you more. So I have somebody who is a police officer. I'm trying to get this out before I get cut off. So every time I talk about something, I normally get a phone call or something happens. So please look into this. A police officer will be trafficked. Your normal neighbor will be trafficked. Your friend could be trafficked. Anybody can be trafficked. Your tattoo artist, for a sake, could be trafficked. And a lot of people would be able to make sure that you're trafficked. Even people who look like they have normal jobs could be trafficked. So if they start getting a bunch of money in nice vehicles and money that come out of nowhere and they're able to access and have shady business and not get caught, their handlers are able to keep them away from trouble. Please understand, if you don't look into the situation of the cops, I'm telling you, there's a lot of Calgary police officers are being trafficked. you need to understand that I know somebody who is being trafficked, and I'm very concerned about him. I've always said strange things like, that's very strange, but okay. Because they thrive on friendships, but they're not able to have friendships. They're not able to have relationships. And they get a lot of DVs, they get a lot of charges against them, or their kids are somewhere else, or they have limited access to their kids. And when you're a police officer, you have to have a clean record. Most of them, you have to have a clean record. So please do your research, and please understand that even the cops that you trust, the legal system, can still be trafficked. And if you see somebody reacting to abuse, legal abuse, financial abuse, understand there might be a bigger picture behind that. If you see people not having access to their money, or they start behaving like, it's weird, it's kind of awkward how their friends start showing up randomly, people they haven't talked to in many years, yeah, they've been trafficked. Disability people are normally the target because they don't see the signs. So they will try to set you up with random people. They will try to make you think that this person wants to be with you because you have a disability, so you won't know the rights and wrongs. You won't see the red flags. You won't see how they're trying to groom you and brainwash you into complying. They will get their person that they're trying to traffic a new phone number, a new identity. They will keep their name and their last name, but they won't let them have access to their personal things. And I'm not trying to explain this in a way that is okay, but when I was in the summertime, I had connected to somebody who literally tried to pay me to have sex with them. And I had a friend named Sarah who told me signs of the sun situations, and it started looking like that, so I got myself out of that. Lucky for me, I did. This person was very nice and caring. They will come off as very nice and caring, and they'll be the nicest person alive. They'll buy you flowers, they'll buy you everything you want, and then they will drop you and make you they'll be like, well, you just gave me everything. I don't understand what's going on. But they will only give you money in cash. They won't do e-transfers. They won't use any way access. They will use daycares as a way to traffic people too. Traffics are money laundering too, is daycares, laundromats, thrift stores, home, little stores, thrift stores, nail places, stores community stores, your small community store. Yeah, it's really easy to be human trafficking through that situations in small businesses. You don't know until it's too late that you've been trafficked. I'm lucky that I have a lot of good people who used to be in my life that told me little things. If somebody's too nice to you in the beginning, like a guy, watch it. Even girls too. You have to watch it because anybody can be trafficked. They can traffic kids. Yeah. But sometimes it's just adults. They traffic for personal gain to make sure there's babies made. And then they will keep quiet. But the baby will not look like the biological parent that they're with. So watch for that. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm not saying anybody's name. I'm literally saying watch for it. You will notice little things. Car accidents. When somebody gets in a car accident and able to have access to more money, or somebody fakes something, or a death, or anything to get access to money. It's really how it is. They will normally get people who are very smart to be able to traffic people. Able to hack into people's phones, hack into people's software, and then they will say they're missing and make GoFundMes, but they're not actually missing. They're just trying to get money from this person missing, because if the cops don't go on leads, so basically the cops know this is a traffic situation, and they're not putting the researchers into a situation that's fake. But they'll make social media look like it's all that, because they want money, and their family wants the money to be able to have access to the money because they're benefiting. So if you see a missing person's family getting lots of money randomly, that's money laundering. They will use somebody's missing situation as money laundering. GoFundMe. They will get lots of money because that's a good way to get other people who are in part of the situation to money launder. If you get, they have a big amount of money on a GoFundMe, and it's kind of odd for one person that's missing money laundering. Please understand, do your research before you donate.